Hello everybody, welcome to another video of Reinaldo chess lesson. Today we are going to do a debut of something new. We are recording a lesson with one of my most regular students. His name is Carlos Chavez. Also, well, to let you know, Carlos is my second hand, in the handle of the YouTube channel. He's in charge of all the edition of the videos, so those fantastic thumbnails are thanks to him. For today, we are going to discuss one of his last games, a rapid game, where, well, it was a blitz game, sorry, where he suffered a painful defeat, and we are going to analyze the reasons of that. So let's start. Well, let's start with the analysis of the games played by Carlos. In this game, we are going to see a Relopus Opening. The variant played was an open Relopus, but by transposition. Probably because of this transposition, Carlos got confused a little bit, but let's start with this, okay? So E45, Knight F3, Knight C6, Bishop B5. Okay, this is the Relopus Opening, also known as the Spanish game. This is the main repertoire of Carlos, and here his opponent did A6, that is known as the Morphe defense. After the natural Bishop A4, now we are going to see a very atypical move that is not one of the main ones, of the main lines in the position, that is B5. So the name of this is the Karo Variation. Normally, black don't play B5 to remove the bishop unless that white is ready to take the knight and take the pawn. Typically, only to let you know, for example, in this position, let's say that black play this move, black is not worried about b5 because the capture to win the pawn is premature because of queen d4. So black play b5 typically only if white is in conditions to take the pawn and without have to face this fork or the double attack. So normally, in the normal variation, for example, after knight f6, short castle, as the king is castle, white is ready to capture the knight and to take the central pawn. So in this moment, b5 is a quite typical move because now, as the king is castle, white is ready to take and to capture. But the b5 move played by his opponent in the game is not too common and is known as the Karo Variation. Okay, so, well, bishop b3, even despite it looks different, the position is still more or less similar with the usual things. Okay, bishop b3. Also here, knight f6. Okay, normal developed move, attacking the pawn on e4. And here Carlos did castle. Okay, we are following the database. Okay, and here his opponent took the pawn on e4. That now, in the database at the moment, we can see like 7,000 gains, including all the possible variations for black. But with the next move played by black, the number of gains is being reduced to only 57 gains. Okay, so knight takes on e4. Now, okay, an important moment of the game, we are following the theory, and here normally Carlos used to play in this position with discussion in another position, not necessarily this one. We were commenting that probably striking the center, the move that he did, d4, is it makes a lot of sense because trying to remove the central pawn, probably you can try to trap the king stuck in the middle of the board, and this was the move played. So before this move, we have only 57 gains on the database. After d4, we can see 5,000 gains, because new gains appear by transposition. Really, the position that we are getting right now is a variant of the open Relopus. In the open Relopus, white opened the center, taking the pawn on e4. Here, according to the database, apparently the best way to punish this unusual order of move for black is moving the rook to e1. This is the usual move that Carlos used to play in those setups. But now we are, okay, if black moves the knight, white is ready to recover the pawn. So typically the natural move will be push the pawn, taking the outputs. And here, if black take the outputs, okay, here, white cannot recover the pawn. So let's see, in this case, after this move, Carlos, any idea to try to recover the pawn on e5. You cannot do it immediately, but okay, what do you think about this position?
Well, knowing how the game turns out, I'd probably resign right here. But
yeah, try to consider, a possibility to try to remove the blocker of the e5.
What do you mean? You're trying to the blocker of the e-file? I don't understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, you want to take the pawn on e5
Mm-hmm.
to restore the material balance. You cannot do it because the knight is blocking after the creation of the outputs on e4. What can you do to remove this knight to try to restore the material balance? Oops.
Couldn't you just push the
Yeah, here we go, d4, d5. Sorry. We take this variation, rook e1, d5.
Yeah, couldn't you just push the d pawn, d3?
Exactly.
Oh, sorry, like I told you, I got that new mouse, and it just you should see it when I
Need the
play a
move.
blitz
Thank you.
game.
I can do it for you. Yeah, you mean
Okay.
d3. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, after d3, black have to remove the knight, and you are ready to restore the material balance. This will be an easy variant, okay, to try to play just a balance game. Okay, I think, in my opinion, the move that you did is more, okay, is, you are getting the open Relopus by transposition. But okay, let's review the thought engine suggestion that is rook e1. After d5, we have the modest d3, that is your suggestion, okay, in order to remove the knight and recover the pawn. Here, there is a couple of options, that are really quite difficult to spot, okay, if we don't have, any specific knowledge about this variant. For example, here, one of the engine suggestion is knight c3, okay, to keep increasing the pressure on the knight on e4, and after knight takes, pawn takes, opening the position, the central lines, and now white is winning, is recovering the pawn. After bishop e6, black defend the pawn. So here, white can probably recover the pawn on e5. That will be a kind of easy approach. But also here, the engine suggests some move, for example, like a4 to try to get the rook to point. In some of the variants, because if white take the pawn and trade the rooks, can deflect the queen of the protection of the central pawn. But really, this variant is quite complex and difficult. Basically, you need like some preparation with an engine to be able to play in this way. But okay, let's see what you did in the game. You take d4, your opponent took the pawn on d4, and now you play rook e1. So this is fantastic. At the moment, the computer is giving to you an advantage of plus 1.3 because, you have big advantage in development. You are pinning the knight. Actually, you are now kind of winning material. So the next move of your opponent is more or less unique, creating the outputs. But one of the downsides of this order of move played by black is that without the pawn on b7, the knight on c6 is hanging. Okay, and now we are going to see some fantastic variations. Okay, in the game, in the game, you did knight d4 to recover the pawn, but missing the fact that after knight takes, queen takes, eventually this bishop can come to c5, creating an intersection point. Not right now, but black can just play bishop e6, blocking the file, and ready to play bishop c5. So in this moment, okay, we are going to see a couple of engine suggestions, but those engine suggestions resembles, some theory of different openings, some theory of the Scotch Gambit, and also the naked Gambit that is a subvariant in the Scotch Gambit. We are going to see the variants. Let's start with the first one. The first one is, let's start with the more simple one, that will be this move. Bishop takes on d5. So basically, to be able to find this move over the board, you need to know this pattern, okay? It's possible, to find by yourself, but, in a blitz game, it can be quite difficult because the tactical idea is too crazy. The argument is that when black recaptures, white can simply play knight c3, increasing the pressure on the pin. Because black cannot recapture the knight, because the queen will be hanging on d5. So what black have to move the queen somewhere, and white will be able to to recover the piece of sacrifice, still with some compensation for the pawn of disadvantage. That will be an alternative. And this resembles a variant of the Scotch Gambit. Try to take mental picture to this position, the pawn pin, and the queen attacking the knight, attacking the queen and the knight. So now let's go to the initial position, and I'm going to show you that variant of the Scotch Gambit. I'm going to do some theoretical move, Scotch game, and bishop c4. Here we have the Scotch Gambit. So after bishop c4, let's play here, for example, probably maybe knight f6 is the variant, I think. Short castle, knight takes e4, rook e1, and d5. So the position clearly is different, but there is more or less the same. The center is open, the rook is in an open file attacking the knight and the king, and black just push the pawn to create the output. So here, white can take on d5, and after queen takes, knight c3. So we are, this is theory. Okay, this is the main theory of the Scotch Gambit. So we can see how this tactical pattern also appears, in that variant of the Karo variation in the Relopus. So this is one of the advantages when you develop a kind of universal style, knowing a lot of openings, you can recognize some tactical patterns. Okay, so well, let's go back to the game. So in the game here, okay, after pawn takes on d4, okay, rook e1, d5. Here you think knight takes on d4. That okay is not too good, but the second option, okay, suggested by the engine, that this will be not bishop takes d5. We'll start with bishop d5. Will be this one, knight c3. Okay, this is probably even more crazy than the previous one. So this move resembles the Nathanson Gambit. We are going to see the Gambit. So here Black can take the knight for free, apparently. Okay, so after this capture, how you would like to take on d5, Carlos? With the bishop or with the queen? What do you think? Both moves are possible, but one move is better than the other one. What do you think will be the more principled move?
Well, yeah, it's always with the less valuable piece.
Exactly, with the less valuable pieces to increase the pressure on the pin. After bishop takes, the center is completely open. We have this skewer, pieces in the same line, the knight is under pressure. Yeah, here the advantage, for white is +4, because white is ready to recover the pieces with a very strong initiative. So this move, knight c3, okay, that is possible right now. Okay, we are going to do the same exercise. Mental picture to this position, and we are going to see a variant in the Scotch Gambit to get the similar tactical idea. Let's go to the start. So e45, knight f3, knight c6, Scotch game. Pawn takes, bishop c4, okay, the Scotch Gambit, and here the same move. Knight f6, short castle, black takes the pawn, and after rook e1, black takes the pawn, and here not rook e1, here the Nathanson Gambit is this move instead of rook e1, and is the fear engine suggestion. But if you open the database here, you will see at the moment we have a Scotch Gambit, okay, but after knight c3, the name of the Gambit changed to the Nathanson Gambit. Okay, really, at master level, there is no background too much. Only 4 games on the Lichess database, in the master database. But this variant is really quite interesting. Basically, the idea of knight c3. Remember that to counteract the Gambit, black needs to play d5. The idea of knight c3 is prevent d5. So here, if black take the knight with the pawn, white have a trick. White can sack the bishop for the pawn, followed by queen d5 with a check with a 4. In this position, the engine says that black is better. Oh, sorry?
No, there's no way I was going to find this during the game.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, for that reason, I told you that this is something that you need to know, okay, from different openings to be able to recognize the pattern, really. But I mean, when you learn the variant and you have some practical experience, normally it's easier to remember, let's say, the theory, okay? But the theory is based in some of the ideas, you know. Not, for example, as I told you, knight c3 looks like a illogical move, but black is ready to create the outputs with d5. So the idea of knight c3 is prevent d5. The knight is hanging, but when black take the knight, now the queen can join to the parry, you know, to do the force. So the sacrifice, capture, and queen d5. This is in the Nakenson Gambit. Really, in the purely Scotch Gambit, there is a way to do the same trick. For example, if black play this move, you know, to defend the pawn, in some lines, white can play c3, and when black takes the second pawn, here we go with the same trick. Sacrifice the bishop, king takes, and the queen goes to d5 to fork the bishop and the king. So we can see the same tactical pattern repeated in different variants, the Scotch Gambit, the Nakenson Gambit, okay, and in different sub-variations. So what I'm trying to say is that in this critical moment of the game, when your opponent plays d5, you have +1 of advantage. But the way to kick the initiative, you know, and to punish this irregular way to play by your opponent is playing the idea of the Scotch Gambit with bishop takes and knight c3, or probably the idea of the Nakenson Gambit with knight c3. You know, that is the third engine move at the moment. So, you know, when we know you know, more than one opening, there is a benefit that you can connect some not strategic patterns, also tactical patterns like this one. Okay, so yeah, and as you say, you know, without this knowledge, there is no way to find this, especially because you was playing a Blitz game with increment. I think it was with increment the game.
5+3, 5+5, one of those.
5+3. Okay, okay. But well, so now, okay, let's see how the games continue. Really, you did a quite normal move, you know, just taking the pawn. That makes perfect sense. Your opponent recapture, you recapture with the queen, and now you're ready to win this pawn. So we are expecting a defense. And also, you know, maybe because in this position, you can be with a lot of confidence because, okay, you know that you have a pawn of disadvantage, but the center is open, the king is in the middle, and you are ready to increase the pressure on the pin. Your opponent moves the bishop, defending the pawn to try to preserve the material balance, but on the other hand, he's breaking the pin, you know, because now the knight is free to go somewhere because, you know, the bishop is now in the line. So here you did a natural move that it was, you know, f3 to remove the outputs. Remember, the ways to challenge the outputs, trading pieces of equal value or with a less valuable pieces. Here, this is a case of a correct move in the strategic point of view, but incorrect tactically. And also, you know, a typical blunder of a Blitz game, because after f3, you know, we have this alignment here in the diagonal, and after bishop c5, okay, the position fall apart. Really, okay, the reasons of lose the game, very specific, a tactical mistake. But also, you know, we really need to focus in the moment where you lost the advantage. That basically is right now. You can use two tactical ideas. The sacrifice on d5 followed by knight c3 or knight c3 directly. And how we can learn these ideas? You know, comparing the position with the lines in the Scotch Gambit, where we can do the Scotch Gambit properly, or also the Nakenson Gambit. Also, you know, in this position, the correct way to play this for black, you know, after d4, black, you know, take the pawn is a kind of suicidal because open the center with the king on the middle shouldn't be correct. So normally, the way to get the open Relopus by transposition will be pushing the pawn to d5, creating the output. So now this move is not too powerful because the pawn on e5 is blocking. So here, white recapture, okay, restoring the balance and also creating this attack. This is the theory of the open Relopus. Black defend the pawn, and now as black consolidate the pawn on d5, black is ready to chase the bishop with the knight. And here white can simply push the pawn, controlling the knight on c6 and making, you know, a space for the bishop in case that your opponent go for this, okay? This will be the main theory of the open Relopus. In order to understand typical middle game plans on this position, okay, black have a queenside majority, white have a kingside majority. Normally, both players will try to mobilize his majority. And for example, line, knight c5 chasing the bishop, bishop retreat to square away of the knight, bishop e7, and now knight b4. The idea of knight b4 is create space for the, to be able to mobilize your kingside majority, and also in case of a capture and the recapture, you can open the C file, and eventually you are hoping to bring a rook here to try to put some pressure on the backward path. Okay, this is more or less the strategic idea in the middle game of this position. But okay, your opponent didn't follow the theory. He didn't play b5. He took the pawn that normally shouldn't be good because of the pin. Really, in the Scotch Gambit, this is possible, but in the Scotch Gambit, this pawn is still on b7, giving additional support to the knight. As this knight is hanging, we can see the troubles with after d5, knight c3, pawn takes, and bishop takes. With this, everybody is hanging here. Okay, so really, those are some big tactical ideas in order to learn how to punish this irregular way to play by your opponent. Okay, but okay, Carlos, let's do a review. Okay, of this. I'm going to try to repeat the move with black just to see if you can remember some of those tactical ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Are you agree with this? Do you want to try?
Yeah, that's fine. But before we do that, before I blundered and pushed f3, if I wanted to keep equality, it would be what? Develop the knight to d2 or d3?
Okay, here you mean instead of f3, allowing the pin.
Yeah.
For example, in this moment, okay, imagine that you want just to limit the damage, because now, really, objectively speaking, there is no way to restore the balance. But in this position, black is threatening bishop c5, developing the bishop, winning a tempo, and creating the intersection point on f2. So, if you spot that, probably the best way to limit the damage is with a difficult move, a backward move, something like queen d1, to be able to meet bishop c5, probably with bishop e3, and try to fight for as you say, for the quality. Okay, with a pawn of disadvantage, but at least you are still on the game. This is a nice question, because sometimes, we really need to learn how to, to recognize that we are in inferior positions, and even despite that, instead of overreact, just slow down and try to limit the damage, staying, on the game. So this will be probably the best defense, objectively speaking, in this position after make the mistake. Okay. Nice question. Okay, let's go to the start, and let's try to, okay, I'm going to repeat, black move, and let's see if you can capitalize the mistake. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, in case of emergency, there is the, you can support in the notation. Okay, but let's try to do this one.
So you want me to play as white, right?
Yep.
All right. Hopefully my mouse doesn't mess up.
Okay. 45. Oops. Okay. Doesn't matter. I can make them.
Yeah.
Just tell me the move.
Well, let me try. Let me try actually something else. I don't know why they sell these mouses that are so good, but they end up being more trouble than they're worth.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. I'm thinking.
Okay. And now, okay, the unusual move possible. Okay, this is known as the Karo Variation in the Morphe defense. This move is unnecessary, but okay, let's repeat the. Now knight f6. Okay, I think he took the pawn. Yeah, he did it.
I guess in the spirit of the.
Exactly, and here black needs to transpose to the open Relopus, pushing d5 right now. It's a necessary move. Instead of that, your opponent took the pawn, opening the center, what is quite risky. Really, this move, it's not a mistake, but, it's quite risky. Okay, not the best way to play for sure. Takes. Okay, rook to e1. Your opponent here create the outputs. Remember, in this moment, you dig knight takes on d4. That is not correct. You have a better move to try to... Remember, this knight is hanging because there is no pawn on b7. So how can you take advantage of that? Remember the ideas of the Scotch Gambit and the Nakenson Gambit. Okay, this is the critical moment where you have to remember how to punish, this inaccuracy played by black.
Well, I know the moves. It's just kind of I don't want to play it because it just seems weird. Because I know one of them's the knight move and the other one's the bishop move.
Yeah.
But it just feels weird.
Yeah, for sure, because it's a sacrifice, but it's just temporal because eventually you will be able to restore the balance, but that's the idea, the transport the weird move, in something, usual, in your daily move, like not look at this kind of move like only belongs to masters or something like that. Really, it's possible to play it, Yeah, the point of this is increase the pressure on the pin, increase the pressure on d5, use the knight as a decoy in order to open the d5, because if you remove the base of the outputs, black position fall apart after that. Now, important move with the less valuable pieces used to be the best, the way to recapture. And here, the too many pieces hanging at the same time really is extremely difficult. Find, a good defense here for black. Probably, an idea that comes to my mind at the moment, maybe it could be bishop d7. Okay, but after bishop d7, probably you can just take it on e4 with check. And after bishop e7, maybe you can increase the pressure with bishop g5. Okay, so so far it's fair enough, to remember the move. Okay, I'm going to do some exploration, with the engine. Okay, probably if I will be defending this position with black, I would like to do this. Let's see how the engine crush us. Okay, wow. Here I was expecting rook takes e4 check, but the engine likes knight g5. Playing with, without capture the knight and looking for a kind of free cleaver attack and increasing the pressure, crazy engine stuff, Normally, know the position until this point is a no, when you know that the valorization of the position start to be +3, +4, +7, this is the specific work that, that we have to do in home with the engine, using the resource available. But okay, the import, the main learning of this position is the tactical pattern of the Scotch Gambit and also the Nakenson Gambit. It will be the way to play this unusual order of move in the Relopus, in the Morphe defense on the reel. Okay, well, Carlos, this was an interesting game. Really, a lot of people say that it's not useful the analysis of the Blitz game, but I really believe that in order to make progress, we have to analyze all the games, without matter the time control, because even in the most painful defeat, we can learn a lot. Yeah, I think that was quite useful. Not only for you as a student, for me as a coach, I used to learn a lot from all my students. Also, I am very sure that all the spectators of the video will learn a lot, at least these two tactical patterns. Okay, so okay, thanks for sharing the game, Carlos. Well, thank you very much for all the spectators. I hope you enjoy the analysis of the game. Yeah, hope to see you in a new video. Let know, if you enjoy this kind of video. Probably we can repeat another session. Okay, so well, goodbye and see you in the next video.